Greetings and welcome again to Maisha Kazini. We are back for our usual chats with Mordecai Ogada about what is happening in the country and how it relates to our work and our professional lives. So welcome, Mordecai.
Thanks. Interesting times.
Very interesting times. And then, of course, we can start with BBI because that was a big thing. I think for me, the thing that has struck me was how, I don't know whether I'm right, but it sounded like the government side was very incompetent. They didn't put together their documents properly. They made arguments against their own policy. So Waikwa, he was saying something very interesting, that a part of the problem of why this happened was because of professional dishonesty. So I wanted us to focus on that today.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How is it that lawyers, political advisors can miss such basic things and not advise the government and the politicians?
Yes, it's indeed, it's very puzzling, and my little exposure to Kenya government is that Kenya government has extraordinary human resources in terms of experts in various fields, and I assume that the people high up, whether it's you're talking the president or cabinet ministers, have access to some of these really highly qualified and experienced people to advise them on whatever they need to do. But somewhere along the line, that chain just broke, and the judgment, look at the judgment and the outcomes of the BBI, there were some such basic errors that I'm a lay person. In terms of law, I can count myself as knowing nothing. But there were things that were even obvious, errors that were even obvious to me, with all these lawyers we have in parliament, lawyers we have in the Senate, lawyers we have in government, the Attorney General. And I think that's the only explanation I can give, is that it's professional dishonesty at the highest levels of these professions, and it's not just in law. I mean, even if you look at the education sector, we have highly qualified people and crazy policies. Look at the conservation sector, we have highly qualified people, and you just see the weakest policy decisions that are inexcusable. So there is a problem of high level of dishonesty.
But could it, Aki, doesn't make sense. How can people, is it the education system? Is it a moral problem? What is it that makes so many professionals unable to stand up for what they have been trained to know is right?
Yeah, partly it's a moral problem. But other than that, I think we have a very carefully cultivated culture of insecurity at the very tops of our government. And I think if we look at even a cabinet, I don't know how the highly qualified members of that cabinet, those with PhDs, cannot feel secure if they sit in the same cabinet with a standard 6 dropout. It sort of sends a message to you that you are disposable, or don't think your qualifications matter here. Here is a primary school dropout, and he's sitting at the same level where you are.
But remember, you said that the issue isn't the degrees. The issue is the expertise. So it shouldn't matter really whether you are with a standard 6 person and you have a master's degree. Why is it that still they cannot stand up for what is right?
Yeah, and I think when we have that, then people become so insecure. Like you are safeguarding you're safeguarding this position, so you don't want to say anything that might bring your position under any sort of scrutiny, even good scrutiny. You know, we've gotten to a culture where you don't even want to be noticed for doing well because you are embarrassing somebody. So you sit there and you see your colleagues or your boss make a poor decision or a poor move, and you keep quiet and you say, yes, sir, or else you even offer your assistance, like, okay, so if you need any assistance building that bridge you want to build, I am happy to assist, even though you know maybe it is flawed in the engineering or whatever. So I think that that insecurity is doing us irreparable harm as a nation, because again, these positions, as we were saying, they come with extraordinary privilege. These government positions come with so much privilege that people leave, I think, leave top positions in the corporate world to join our government because of these privileges.
Even when the salary is lower.
Yes, people take salary cuts to join our government because of privilege. And these privileges, once they get used to it, I think the worst living nightmare every day is the possibility that I could lose it. And if I could lose it for pointing out an error, I won't point out that error.
But what is it about these government jobs that makes people lose their minds? I don't understand it. Because even when you look at the professors, even professors are keeping quiet because they hope at, somewhere down the line, they're going to get a government job.
Yes.
What is it about these government jobs? I don't get it.
Yeah, and you look at the BPI document, fatally flawed, politically flawed, legally flawed, yet the drafters and the secretariat are led by a professor of political science. So he was focused on the government or state appointment he might get after this thing succeeds, not rather than focusing on giving his principals the correct advice now. So it's crazy. Like, you are sitting in a car and you don't want to advise the driver, and you're going to crash into a ditch, but you don't want to advise the driver because you're looking forward to the lunch you'll have when you get to your destination, which I don't know how you are going to get there. It completely defies logic, but it's one of the things I know that masks people's logic is this basic thing we call allowances. It blinds people uniformly. And I can tell you that
is it the amount or just the idea of allowances?
It's partly the amounts. The amounts are good.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's money for nothing.
Oh gosh.
Money for nothing is very harmful, even when it's little money. But this is serious money for nothing. Ad hoc committees, I've seen ad hoc committees in Kenya where people get sitting allowances of 80,000 shillings a day. Think about the BBI process. This has been 2 years. How much have people earned in allowances? And that's why you end up with no one is responsible for anything. You see some members of the secretariat actually said, we signed on a single page, so we are not sure what was the rest of the pages. You've heard that? You've had the issue of county assemblies passing documents that are different. So no one actually knows, so which was the correct one? So you can't accuse anyone of passing the wrong one because no one even knows which was the correct one. But it's because people have been given allowances. You sign and you go home. You sign, take your money and go home. Anyone who's asking, but is here corrected? That is now bringing the unwanted attention. You'll be told next time, we usikuje. So this thing has just snowballed. So everyone is dancing reggae, passing documents, signing things, but no one is looking at the basic legal questions, which you saw come out in the court, which is very sad for our country, because go to every sector, this is the problem that's happening.
Which comes down to work, because you see, work grounds you. It grounds you. So when you're paid for the work, you're able to ask the questions because nobody has anything on you. But if you're being paid just to be, you will always be insecure.
Yeah. You'll always be insecure, and you will sign and approve everything that is brought in front of you. I mean, I hazard a guess that that CBC wouldn't be like that if allowances weren't paid in the process of its formulation. Those bad things would never have come through if people weren't earning allowances from discussing them at meetings.
So it's corruption, but it's not even corruption. Yeah. Okay, it's corruption in terms of resources, but it's corruption of the soul.
Yes, corruption of the soul and the structure. It's built in, it's like built in corruption. Something, it's very difficult for something to go straight when money is just being handed out left, right, and center. How many people work hard for a month to earn 80,000? Hard work, commuting every day, the floods in Nairobi. Then someone, you just come and sit somewhere for one day. You can even fall asleep and take tea at 10 and 4 and lunch, and then you earn that 80,000. End of the day, tax-free. Remember, it's tax-free. These are allowances, not salaries. There's no way that person can do good work. I'm sorry to say. It can't happen. And you see how we pay our parliamentarian salaries and sitting allowances. That's why you find MPs begging their party leaders to include them in committees. You know what?
That's why it's a demotion. I wondered why
he was the whip.
Demotion.
She was the whip from that committee. And I kept wondering, like, what is in these committees?
Yeah.
It's sitting allowances. And these are people earning nearly 2 million a month. Look how they beg for sitting allowances. To sit in that committee asking someone who is the director of this company that got 5 billion from KEMSA. That's what by the end of that meeting, you've put your 80,000 in the pocket. And you've learned exactly zero. In fact, you've postponed the rest of the hearing to tomorrow.
But, this doesn't make sense. How do people live with themselves when there's nothing that they do? They have money and there's not. How? I don't understand it. Because you're a slave to that person who gave you money. At least that's what my mother taught me. She said, if you get money that you didn't earn, you're a slave to the person who gave you.
Yeah. And I think they expose themselves, like what we were discussing before, is that we are so stuck on material things that when someone's appointed to senior position, the first thing they do, move your kid from that school to the 1.5 million per term school. You've moved your kid instantly. Some people are staying perfectly in a perfectly comfortable house somewhere in Buruburu or Nairobi West. Instantly,
they go to Runda,
Kitsuru or Runda. And they are living in Runda in a house where they may be paying 200, 300,000 a month. Instantly, that person becomes a slave of allowances. To pay the fees, to pay the rent, he's instantly started playing golf, even though he does not have the spinal flexibility to take this thing up at age 55. But he's bought a set of golf clubs, which costs the price of a small car. He's enrolled in membership in a private members club, paying $500,000 a month a year membership. He's now a slave of sitting allowances. If that person is threatened with removal from a parliamentary committee, he'll beg, he'll get on his knees and beg. If that person sees something going wrong, he will never point it out because he knows his club membership is coming due next month. The 1.5 million fees is due next month. You can't dare speak.
What are you going to say at the club when you have nothing? You just smile and sip your whiskey, pole. You have no substance to talk about. You have no impact.
Yeah, even this golf they're playing, it's so wayward. In fact, I don't know, those balls can kill someone because they're hitting them all over the place. These guys don't know how to play this game. But it's important to be there. It's important to be there.
This sounds like British aristocracy to me.
But that is absolutely what it is. The club is a creation of British aristocracy. That is why we have, we have clubs with facilities. to be used by young, fit people, and there's no young, fit member. I know one of the top clubs here, which has a wonderfully maintained hockey field. And there's no member of the age to play hockey. And that thing is rolled and marked regularly.
Do they invite the young people to come play?
No, you are not a member. Unataka nini hapa?
What?
It's for members. It's a members club. It's a members club. You can't come there.
Me, what I'm hearing you say is that our measure for social status has never changed since the British settlers were here.
No, it hasn't at all. It's perfectly intact. Perfectly.
So people.
In fact, the only difference is that the British are now Black British.
So people's sense of accomplishment is that, oh, my kids are going to this school. They did their degrees in Oxford. I have tea every Friday night at the members club. Yes. That's the progression.
Yes. And how else would you explain why some of these schools have bumper stickers that you put on your car if you're a parent there? What's the use of that bumper sticker?
It's to announce.
Yes, it's to announce. I can understand the one they put on, the small one they put on the windshield in front, so that maybe you arrive at the gate and the watchman doesn't need to ask what you are coming. He knows this. But the bumper sticker, what's that one for? I know I have bumper stickers on my car. They are to announce what I do. There's one written mountain biker. There's one Colorado State University from when I taught there, and this guy. Why do you have a sticker of your kid's school? It's to announce I'm so and so. My kid is in wherever. I pay 1.5 per term.
But it's such an empty. It's so empty because none of the people who you're hanging around with are with you for you. And if you hit bad times, they go. Yeah.
You remember the extended crying in writing that we saw from the Dr. Bitange Ndemo after he left the government. He said his phone stopped ringing. You know, if my phone doesn't ring, I'm so happy. I'm bad watching. No one's disturbing me. The way that guy cried over his phone stopping ringing, I'm wondering, what's the problem? You have now got your life back. Go on with your life. But that means that hollow gratification it's killing us. It's finishing us.
And you know, the other day I was saying that we need to demystify that kind of social progress, because that's what's making life so expensive, that people are stealing so that they can have access to that lifestyle.
Yes. And people are driving 15, 16, 17 million shilling cars on loan. He's paying. You know the interest rates we have here in Kenya. It's 20. You know, these days it's like 14, 15%. And you're driving a car and on loan. If you have the cash to buy it, well, that's your thing.
Yeah.
But there are people driving these cars on loan. And I've known some of them, and they say, you know, this car, when I drive into so-and-so's meeting, no one asks who I am. They let me in. When I show up at the gate of the other place, they let me in. I drive into and park in the underground parking in government offices because of this car. Then I can go in there and look for tenders. That's the thinking behind it.
But it's such an insecure position, because that thing can be taken away immediately. Then you do what?
Exactly. He's actually chasing a tender to get the money to keep up the payments. If he misses that tender, that car is gone. If things shut down the way things shut down at COVID, because of COVID things, that car is gone. That car is gone. And when he got his first tender, he was driving his small Nissan or Toyota, whatever. And the instant that money hit his account, he discarded the other car.
That is one mistake people should never make. Don't change your lifestyle immediately. Actually,
And
based on a salary.
yes.
No.
No, on a tender. It's not even a salary. A tender payment. Huh?
So you become
People,
addicted to tenders. It's an addiction.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy got a 30 million shilling payment. He bought a 15 million shilling car.
15
And
million
now,
shillings just like that.
Yes. He spent 50% of it on a car and maybe another bit more on clothes, club memberships, etc. And now he's using this to get to in fact, they seek club memberships. Which club is the minister for this and that, the member of? I want to get into that club. So hopefully I'll meet him taking whiskey one evening and I'll get another tender. Or does he play golf? Yes, now I have to also start playing golf. Maybe I'll meet him on the fairways.
Gosh.
It's actually slavery.
It is.
It's slavery. And this insecurity is why ministers, everybody, politicians up to the top of our society get wrong advice. Because when someone wants a tender, he tells the minister, Waziri, that's a good idea. Even though the minister has just come up with the most ridiculous idea in the world. Waziri, that's what we need to do. Yes, sir. It's to ingratiate yourself to him. And that's how our politicians have ended up in this kind of trouble. Haven't we just heard even our Minister for Tourism and Wildlife talking about privatization of our national parks? Unthinkable, anathema. But I promise you, someone in that meeting where he was said, yes, sir, that's good.
Actually, the few times I've met with the government officials, I've noticed that there's no real discussion. You're just saying yes, then you do that cafe clap.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, just even when a joke is not that funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when he makes a joke, you laugh. And then you tell me, yes, that's a very good idea. There he goes. International meeting or whatever online meeting. Yes, we can privatize national parks. He's confident because he has some experts in his office and they told him, yes, sir, that's wonderful. He doesn't know that those experts were thinking about their kids in Brookhouse. They weren't thinking about our national parks.
But it means that our education system, I have started to suspect, and now you're confirming it, that our education system tortures us with the promise that if you succeed, you don't have to work anymore. And that's why you have to go through all this torture.
Success is getting to a position where I can earn without working.
Ew.
That is success.
Oh.
Where I can play golf, I can attend meetings and sit there and not innovate.
I don't have to think.
Yes, I don't have to innovate anything, but I'll earn money. And he'll tell you, I worked hard to get where I am.
By the way.
You see all these interviews people do, like, how did you? It was hard work. Hard work. That's why you see me driving a big car and doing nothing. It's because I worked hard.
I suffered when I was younger and I went through the hoop. So don't disturb me now.
And don't think you are going to get anywhere without jumping through similar hoops as well.
This is a psychosis.
It's a psychosis. And more so, you see, a position that is held on such basis is not a position based on expertise or performance. It's a position based on entitlement. What we are discussing is entitlement.
Yes, yeah.
So it's not about the economy has done so well the past couple of years, so this guy deserves 5 more years as an economist. No. He's worked hard, he's played the networks, and he's gotten into this position. He's now entitled to be in that position. The performance or lack thereof is a non-issue. So this insecurity at the very top, and When we've talked in one of our talks before, like I've talked to myself having security in that I don't care now if I publish. And there's some time back I said that. And people think this malaise is so bad that people think I'm talking of, I mean, I have a lot of money.
Yeah.
They think Mordecai has so much money, he doesn't need to publish. No. The security I have is belief in what I know and what I do. And inherent belief that I'm doing my best and I'm doing it for the good of myself, future generations of my country.
Actually,
and if someone doesn't want to publish it, I don't care.
Actually, there was a time I even told a PhD class that I taught. I told them, you people, you should not plagiarize. You should do the work. Because if you don't do the work and you graduate, you will forever be insecure whether you're called a doctor or not.
Yes. You'll be,
You'll always
You'll
be
never
looking
be
over
safe.
your shoulder. When you go to meet with your peers, you'll always be nervous that maybe you don't know enough. So better just sweat it out and do the work now.
Even a student coming to you and telling you, like, I read your paper, it makes you jump. You say, oh my God, is it the one I plagiarized? he's going to ask me some detail there and I don't know. You see, a student comes to your door and what do you want?
Oh,
because you're scared. Yes, he might be holding your paper in his hand and wanting to ask you, how did you do this analysis? And I've been chased away before by professors like that. Go to the library and read it for yourself. Stop disturbing me. It's only later on I realized that they didn't know what I was asking. You can't be secure. You're right. You'll never be secure.
And maybe actually, when you think of it, that's why the government mistreats Kenyans. I think they get shocked, especially civil servants. They get shocked when young Kenyans without names, they're there on Twitter, pulling up documents and saying, but here, this says what. In this country, this, that. They don't know what to do. And so they say,
in fact, instead of addressing the issue, they ask, who is he? Who is that lady? Or who is that man? Who is he? They can't dare try and address the issue he's complaining about. It's who is he?
What? This mediocrity has
this is the challenge we have. Yeah, this is the challenge we have.
The mediocrity has just soaked into the whole system.
If you don't try, if you don't let yourself be mediocre, you find yourself, they treat you as a problem. Like I told you some time back, there's a senior government official who was asked about me and said, Ogada has some good ideas, but the problem, that guy can't be controlled. Why do you want to control me? You just use my ideas. All I'm offering is my ideas.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't want to join your family. I don't want to live with you. I'm just offering you my ideas.
But I was saying when we were talking about this yesterday, there's also a loneliness that if you keep standing for integrity, you're just alone. Yeah.
Isolation.
Because now it's your colleagues and your peers who now say, they keep off. They're just like, oh no, you can't tell her that. So I think maybe that's what people figure, even if hata kama si pesa, I don't want to be alone.
I think especially in a field like conservation, like I've often said, conservation operates like a cult. In some ways it even operates like organized crime, and it becomes like, hey, I've felt very bad because I've actually been told by one young lady that she missed out on a job because she quoted something I said in the interview. And the fact is, since the big conservation lie was published end of 2016, 2017, 2018. I mean, it's only good that I'm involved in other things like sport and literature and other things. But conservation field, no one would want to be seen having a cup of tea with me in Java. No. Some people would be like, didn't you used to work with that? Me, I don't know him. I just know him from the book. I don't know him. Isn't he a friend? No. Do you have his people who have my contact? They'd be asked, do you have his? No, I don't have his number. And it's very violent. The isolation is violent.
Yes.
It's like what they call that solitary confinement. I hear that in some jails they have that thing as punishment for various transgressions. So it's sad and it's very acute. I'd say anybody in any field in Kenya, if you are willing, if you want to stand for the truth in whatever field you are in, be ready for the isolation. But once you are able to deal with the isolation, no one can touch you.
By the way.
Yeah, they're powerless. Yeah, you in fact you end up just laughing at them. Once you learn to deal with the isolation and the way you deal with the isolation is that you read, you build yourself up, and don't ever just be involved in one field.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Yeah.
If you are in conservation, be a sportsman or a cyclist or something else. Or an artist. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised when we went for the premiere of Tales of an Accidental City.
The Accidental City, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised the variety of people who are there.
Yeah.
Science, arts, tech, all of them coming together. Yeah, that's what keeps you going.
Even political activists were there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, political activists were there. And it's so good for your health. I mean, I don't know if my Muna has any idea how good it was for me that she invited me. I'm not sure why she thought, but yeah, I appreciated it a lot because that's really important. That's really important. The isolation is in some cases it's not deliberate because people are cowards and don't want to be seen with Wandia or with Mordecai or whatever. But sometimes it's deliberate. It's deliberate. They have this conference, don't invite him. Have this meeting, don't invite her. And they try and punish you in that manner, but it works if you are not secure in what you know, because things do go wrong and later on they do come back to you. Yeah.
And in fact, after you survive 1 or 2 years, you start to see, actually it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's fine, because my personal experience is that since 2019, late 2018 and into 2019 to the present, some of the things we talked about in the big conservation lie, we didn't think they would happen, but they happened, and people realized, oh my God, these guys were telling the truth. And one of the things we kept going on and on, that tourism does not conserve wildlife. Wildlife can survive with or without tourism, but there's no way of proving that. Then COVID hit.
By the way,
tourism was flattened and animals are just there running around doing their thing in the bush. And people realize, oh my, this guy said this thing. And so people come to a realization that A, that you are right, and B, that you meant well.
So you have to have staying power, really. When you decide to take a position, you have to have staying power and just wait it out until reality just reveals itself.
Yeah. And by God, don't go halfway. Go full out or not at all.
Yeah,
if you go halfway and if you go halfway and back down, you're in trouble. Yeah.
So we have to help. We are helping the professionals not have to do what these BBI people did. It is so embarrassing.
Yes.
I was listening to the judgment and thinking, how did that happen? You sent documents against your own policy.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
The IEBC could not defend itself based on its own regulations. It's embarrassing. It's what you can call schoolboy errors. Schoolboy errors, and these are people who have some who are already in position of influencing the destiny of this country, and some who are aspiring to be, and they're making schoolboy errors, and that's because they surrounded themselves with insecure people. All those who I think world leaders, those who are called good presidents, good leaders, I think they put at least one or two secure people who can tell him, Madam President or Mr. President, that's rubbish. You can't do that. Because he's been put in a secure position. He's been told, now you are here as my advisor. If I do something wrong, I'll come and ask you why you didn't tell me to discontinue that. So I expect you to tell me if I'm saying nonsense, you tell me that's nonsense. You go over my speech and tell me if it makes sense or if it's rubbish. So that person is secure, and he sits in the office there and advises, be it the Queen or the President or anybody. Tells him, Mr. President, that one won't work, forget it. Throw it in the dustbin. And he's secure, he knows he won't be fired for saying that. But here, you are surround yourself with insecure people who have 3-4 law degrees and can't advise you on basic. I mean, some of my lawyer friends say some of these things are undergraduate level law issues.
Yeah. But then also, there's so much job insecurity, at least over the past 7 years.
Yeah,
or
yes.
even 10. There's been so much job insecurity. So people, we don't fight for security. That is, actually, who should be fighting for us to get job security. Everybody's in gig economy, contracts, part-time.
Yeah, weren't we talking about this, that how can our universities produce knowledge if the drivers are permanent, but the lecturers are
not
part-time? The clerical staff are on permanent basis, but the lecturers are temporary. That's why lecturers in the university are either looking for state jobs or they're looking to get into administrative jobs in the university.
Oh, yes.
So you find this physicist might be working very hard to become a registrar.
Oh, yeah.
This biologist is working very hard to become DVC finance, with basically a finance manager. With all his PhD and 100 papers in ecology, he's working hard to become DVC finance because he's insecure. So there is no, if the people producing knowledge, the core, the lecturers are insecure, that institution can't produce academic writing. That never earned anyone security in a Kenyan university. In the US, I see they have this what they call tenure, and people work hard. You do research and write papers, etc. So you achieve tenure, supervise X number of students, so I can get tenured, because tenure is security.
But then now, even they've reduced it. I think now they're saying about 30% are tenure.
Yeah. Yes.
Others are sleeping in their cars, going from university to university.
Yes, living in cars. And that's what we've got. We've got some people here who are practically living in cars. He's teaching one class in Chuka, another one in Moi, another one in Pwani. I mean, that person, if anyone is traveling Kenya,
it's him.
Yeah, none of these are secure. And it's a cycle of teaching the classes, setting exams, and chasing payments.
Oh yeah, because they are not even paid on time.
They are not, if at all. I know many who have not been paid. Yeah. I know many who have not been paid. And who give up. Let's say you live in Kakamega and your payment is stuck in Pwani. How many times are you going to go to Mombasa to chase these signatures? How many times? How much money is it?
You will have finished your money by the time you get.
Yes, you'll give up unless it's 5 million, which it isn't. We know if these payments are 200,000, this, that, the other, 100,000. How many times are they gonna do it? So they're killing security in the quest to cut costs. And if you look at the IMF structural adjustment programs, that is the objective, is to bring insecurity in government, in universities, in hospitals, everywhere. Because once we are insecure, we are pliable. The IMF director, not even a head of state, the IMF director can come to this country and tell the president, do ABC, I've ordered you, because we are all insecure.
And we can't say
yes,
no.
Sir. He'll say yes, sir, or yes, madam. Yeah. There's no secure stuff anywhere. So any donor can come and tell you do ABC. That's what's happening. That's what's even happening in our conservation sector. Small NGOs and foreigners who are misfits in their countries come and order state officers to do what they want, because none of these state officers are insecure. Someone who's secure can tell you kwenda kabisa, but someone who's insecure.
Basically, we are serving the whole of Kenya on a platter to foreign interests because we can't dare give our people security of income. Yes.
And security of income has become so rare.
It has.
That you find the youth or even parents scraping, selling their cows or their plot or whatever to get 300,000 to pay for his son and daughter a bribe to get recruited in the armed forces for a secure salary of maybe 40K.
And you see, it's not even the size of the salary.
No.
The security. That I can be guaranteed that I will earn this money, that I will get healthcare and my kids can go to school.
And guaranteed housing.
Guaranteed housing.
Yeah, that's what you're paying for. The job even doesn't matter.
And why do Kenyans not see this? How important security is?
We've lost our way in that we've lost our long-term vision. So we've become creatures of the present. And that's why and it's the structural adjustment programs that's where this came from.
The ones of the 90s.
Yes, before those SAPs, even a junior civil servant, let's say someone like agricultural extension officer, was secure in his job. And he'd do it well. He'd come to Mordecai's farm and tell Mordecai, use this fertilizer, use this pesticide, this one is bad, we are phasing out this. And he'll go to the next guy, and he doesn't care who Mordecai is, because he's secure in his job, and that is what he's paid to do, to advise Mordecai. But they killed all those things. Now we remain with civil servants who are basically working at the whims of donors. I've been to a number of job interviews, and where do we get this thing that part of the reason, one of the most important questions you are being asked in an interview at a high level, someone with a PhD, is how much funds have you raised?
Oh yeah, we get that in academia.
Yeah. How good am I at begging? That's really important in the highly technical position for which I'm interviewing.
And do they even ask you about your expertise or a certain issue?
No. They don't ask about intricate policy things. And this is sad. It's because we've been reduced to those desperate, insecure people. You find very senior people and even in the private sector, very senior people earning very high salaries, but he's on a year-to-year contract. He signs a new contract every January. Yani he has money, but has no security.
And you know the toxic
He's in
part
fear
of
constantly.
the toxic part of it is that, for example, if you're a big shot on those year contracts, you can't say, I'm going to live in Kawangware because that's what I can afford if I lose this job. You still have to go to that Runda and live there, but you don't even know whether you can sustain it.
And the kids have to go to those schools.
Yeah, so that they are classmates with the MD's child.
Yes, and you have to be in that club because you are the finance manager and the CEO is telling you something, or board members telling you something. Can you come and meet us at the club? Then you are telling me, oh, sorry, Mr. Chairman,
I'm not a member.
Hey. They'll start wondering, who are these we are hiring? He's not a member of the club. And you see that insecurity, it is so bad that you've seen in this COVID thing. These were the first people to be let go. You are in this 4 million a month job, year-to-year contract. COVID hits, this thing is affected. You are let go. Okay, you're given your gratuities, everything, but you're let go. The trauma. The trauma. And they don't even know where to start.
And these contract jobs are so involving. They involve you like you're a permanent employee.
They work you. They It's actually the same attitude you see if you have any friends who are in the car hire business. You know the way you drive your car carefully. You go around potholes and all that.
Yeah.
You tell someone you'll hire my car and drive to Kisumu and bring it back shattered because he was hammering potholes on the way. It's a hired car. He's returning it tomorrow. He won't repair the shocks. That's why they cannot give. How many jobs you see people working, senior jobs, and you have no medical cover?
Okay.
People are not given medical cover. Or you are given for you alone, but not your kids or your wife or your husband. That one you'll buy. Because those are security. Medical cover is security, but they don't want to give you security.
And here we are singing healthcare, public healthcare, public education. It will mean you wouldn't have to worry about your job. In fact, actually, even your boss will not be able to tell you off. Because you'll be like, I can't go. Because you know that if your kid gets sick, your kid will have a...
You know exactly where you'll take them to be treated. But now we've been... The most senior people are insecure. And you tell me if a senior person is insecure, the ones below him or the services, if he's in the cabinet, that ministry can't work. If he's the CEO of a company, that company can't work.
And then people
I had surgery. I'd be horrified if I went in for surgery and the surgeon operating on me is insecure.
Actually,
he might be evicted tonight and he's there with a scalpel in my brain, and he knows the landlord might be at his door right now. He could kill me.
And in fact, even the other thing is leave. You know, people don't take leave, even those who have permanent whatever, because they are scared. If life can go on without me, it means I'm insecure. I don't know whether I'll have my job.
And you know, this culture has become toxic in the COVID working from home thing.
Yeah.
People have been told, you've been at home the last 6 months. Kumbe, we don't need you. People are losing jobs. People are losing jobs because we learned to do everything on Zoom without you. The thing you are doing, we digitized it. And people are shutting down offices and people are being let go. Actually, we don't need you. We don't need you anymore.
Kenya.
And we must have security is so much more important even than the absolute sum of money someone is earning. It is security is what keeps you healthy. And A 2 million a month job with no security just makes you sick. It makes you sick. And it is something that is killing our fabric in this country. Our fabric of our society in this country is dying from that. It's dying from that lack of security. And people are, you see the high cost estates, etc., housing estates. People are living in those mansions, palatial houses, and paying rent. I mean, literally, there are people earning 2 million a month and is paying 300,000 rent a month or 400,000 rent a month.
And he still has to be golf member, take kids to posh
That
school.
guy has so much money, but he's so insecure. Without his job, if he loses his job today, he couldn't even afford to service his car.
Oh yeah, you were telling me some
I told you
cars.
that thing. There are some car models which we won't name here that are serviced with 100K, changing filters and oils and plugs.
And you can't decide to drive your small car, because when you're driving into the compound, people will be like, I thought we are paying you.
Yeah. And you're going to meet some clients. Your boss tells you, but next time I'm meeting clients, don't come with that Vitz here.
Gosh. And Atwoli is wasting our time with BBI.
Yes.
He can't
producing
talk about
so much, producing so much hot air. Hot air balloon. Producing hot air. What we need is security.
So this
security means someone can plan.
Yes. Yeah.
I can take a loan with payable over 10 years because I know I'm secure.
You can.
The only way I'll get fired from this job is yes. I know this job, unless I steal, I won't get fired, and I know I'm not going to steal. So I'll take a loan for payable in 10 years to build a home or whatever.
But that also extends to our infrastructure, because I live on Mombasa Road. Hey, I sat in traffic for 4 hours. You cannot plan.
Destroys your soul. Yeah, what can you plan? You can't make an appointment with someone to meet at 10 or whatever. You have no idea what time you'll be there. You have no idea.
And actually, that's how Kenyan life is. In fact, if your day goes smoothly from start to finish, you're very lucky. It never happens. Somebody somewhere will mess it up. Traffic,
and you see,
document you don't have. I don't know. You cannot
me coming from Nanyuki, I usually do day trips to Nairobi, but if I have something on the other side, on the southern side of Uhuru Highway, as in I have to go to like Ngong Road, I plan to spend the night in Nairobi. Unless I'm coming for a meeting in Gigiri or Westlands, and I come there and finish and head back out of town. If I have to go to the other side of town, or I have to go to KWS in Langata, I spend the night in Nairobi.
Because you never know.
Yeah. I just don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. And the curfew regulations has increased that insecurity. With the other day, fatal road accident on the southern bypass, 9:35 p.m. The guy was driving like a bat out of hell to get home before the curfew. That's someone who should have been driving home leisurely, telling his family, I'm on the way home, I'll be there in 30 minutes or I'll be there in an hour. That's insecure. And an insecure society is easy to manipulate and to dominate, but it's also a very cruel society.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cruel. Yeah. You don't care. If we are killing someone here, we just kill him today. Uko mbele tutajua. Even I don't know if even me, I might be killed tomorrow. Let me kill this one today.
Or you talk badly to people, you know, like the way not Matiang'i, what's his name? Magoha was telling people from poorer age, parents. He was saying, you people, you've not been spending time with your children. Now this curriculum will force you to spend time with your children. As if parents were choosing not to be home. How can you be home when Mombasa Road is making you stay there for 4 hours?
Yeah. You can't get home. You can actually have a car and fuel in a car, and you can't get home. You have a car driving license and fuel in the tank, but you can't get home. When someone's telling you're not spending time with your kids. Spending time with the kids, in fact, in Nairobi, it's becoming a luxury. Hey. People's kids are growing up like strangers. How can you get home?
Aki, I've been so shocked because, gosh, you know, like when we were talking about public health care, people were not getting it.
People don't get it.
They think it's about the money. Others were saying, I have NHIF. Now, where is it? NHIF? COVID came. NHIF was telling people we are not paying.
Gone. NHIF is like a gamble. You know, it's like it's almost like sticking your ATM card into an ATM and you're not sure if the salary has come. You can go. It's not. They tell you we are not paying for this. We are not paying for this, and if we are being forced down the private path. Forced down the private path.
Oh yeah,
which is also
IMF
exploitative.
Loans.
Yeah, it's exploitative. But for those of us who have children, because literally, I know as long as my child is still of the dependent age, I don't want to think of him not having me to provide what I provide. So I grit my teeth and I pay that exploitative cost. So that if by mistake I'm hit over the head by some policeman, someone can rush me to hospital and say, oh, he's got a card here. Can you treat him? It's why people always ask me, like, especially when you're discussing around the COVID pandemic, you say, are you scared of, you know, there are so many other things in Kenya that scare me so badly. I forget about COVID. On the list of frightening things in Kenya, COVID is like, in my life, it's like number 18. It's nowhere in my radar. It's there, the disease exists, but the things that scare me more than that in Kenya.
And the way, I mean, when you think of how shoddily BBI was done, it tells you how reckless our political class is. They're not thinking beyond their noses. So you don't even know what is going to happen in 2022. This is not a way to live. It's not.
If the leaders, the most important people in this country, are not planning even a year from now.
They couldn't even plan a BBI.
They couldn't plan months ahead.
Actually, we are going to go here. This is what the Constitution, and the Constitution is the plan. So you've been given the plan.
Yeah.
So you've been told
there's a blueprint.
If Parliament wants to change, this is the process that you have to go. They could even that one they were unable. They would. I think dancing in the markets is easier.
Yeah.
It doesn't take work.
And holding events that are spreading in
COVID.
The COVID, crowds of people shouting and singing and dancing and screaming. Then the second whatever is it, the second wave or third wave comes and they lock us down and they're telling us we are reopening, but it depends on your behavior. Your behavior is, it's our behavior. We'll reopen, but if you guys misbehave again, we'll lock down again.
No, those guys are foolish now. I think we just, we can't plan. I mean, everybody's even on edge thinking, what happens in 2022? We can't tell. And
We
yet,
can't plan.
when we have 5 years, that means we can plan.
Yeah.
The Constitution has given us
yeah.
a plan, and even then, these guys didn't want to follow it.
Yeah, they didn't want to follow it. And I personally, I think that's part of the reason why I'm finding this period in Kenya so scary, is that even in my personal life, my professional life, my work, etc., I can hardly plan beyond a month. I don't know if that meeting is going to be called off. You know, I'd put off plans because we had been told the regulations would stay until 29th May.
Yeah.
I had put off my field work, told the guys, okay, and then suddenly on Labor Day, you can move. And I'm calling up people, uko wapi? Is that thing ready? Can we start? Hey. Huh? People, donors who are supposed to get some grants, now things have opened up, we can do that work. Because earlier on, I told them, no, we can't do this work, regulations are shut down. Now I'm telling, okay, it's opened up again. I might plan, then it might shut down again because you heard how they are talking because of your behavior.
Yeah.
They'll go and tell me I've behaved badly, so we need to shut down again.
And is there a link between this extreme insecurity and this aristocratic? Because those are two dimensions of Kenyan life. People are aspiring to be like Wazungus, but they are so insecure, they can't plan, they're cruel, they are...
I mean, the aristocracy. Okay, the aristocracy. If you look at Europe now, there are few royal families, royal households. They are now largely symbolic. But if you look at their origins, they started from positions of wealth amongst a poor mass of people. Royal families grew out of poverty of the masses and starvation of the masses. That's how they grew. So that was feudal Europe, medieval Europe those days. The masses were so poor. Even in conservation, national parks grew out of gamekeepers employed to keep the poor from eating small game, so that the nobles could shoot them for fun, not to eat, for fun. And okay, now those royal families, some still exist, and okay, now they are not executives and all that. But what we are doing in Kenya now is what those guys did in the Middle Ages.
By the way, Kenya feels very medieval.
It's medieval. It's medieval.
It feels medieval. Yeah.
In fact, BBI was just an attempt to formalize the medieval nature of Kenya today, to create a feudal Kenya, where now this thing is between this family, noble family, noble family, noble family.
And you belong to this family and
yes,
the land.
Yeah. Yeah, yes.
And that guy can trade with you, because that's what they do with votes.
Yes, we are commodities.
We are commodities. So somebody says, I come from Central, I have this number of votes. If you want, come we discuss.
Yeah.
We have alliances based on your votes and my votes.
Yes.
And you're talking about people.
Yes, we are chatels, because in medieval times, even people were traded like that. After so and so is threatening you and you fought and he overpowered you, to make peace, you even give some women and young men to go and work. Women to be wives or sex slaves, and the young men to be slaves. We were human beings were part of settlements. And right now it's the same thing. People are coming to a table. I've carried what do you have with you? In my basket here, I have Luos, or I have Luyas, or I have people from where? I have brought coast people. I've brought Northeastern. I've brought pastoralists. I've brought this to the table. And then you see them. You see alliances forming, and the people. And the BBI was just trying to formalize that, but I think they got caught up in their caught up in their own hype in a way. They forgot the basics. They forgot the basics, and I'm happy that they did, because this debacle is one of the happiest things for me in a long time. But they forgot the basics.
So this insecurity, I'll come back to BBI, but this insecurity is part of that system.
Yes.
This feeling of we don't know what next.
Yes. It's systemic. It's systemic, because you want, even someone you hire in a senior position, you want him to be subservient. So you make him insecure. And he'll make, that thing trickles down. He'll make the people under him will be insecure as well. And those under the other one will be insecure. All the way down. All the way down to the lowly person who walks every day to work. Everyone is insecure. So everyone is pliable. If they say we are doing this, everyone rushes to vote there. If you see the sort of insecurity, even though it was mental, the insecurity that made members of county assemblies, parliament, and all that, you are summoned and ordered, vote ABC, and you go back, yes.
What were they scared of?
Yeah. Even people who are actually safe in the truth of the matter, an elected MP cannot be touched by anybody. But he is summoned and ordered, or called on the phone and ordered, enda fanya hivi. Yes, sir.
But I think it's what the way to plant insecurity is you don't even need to threaten, you just need to ask a question. You know those questions.
Yeah.
How do you know, basically?
Yeah.
How do you know this and this? And then from there, people just lose it. Everything else becomes, you don't know. I might not be able to say, you know.
Yeah. That's why even our response to the COVID pandemic is so illogical, because people are also insecure that no one's thinking about his situation. They're looking at what the people are saying. If you remember in the beginning, there was a point we were even told, women in the markets were told, you sell vegetables, but don't cut anybody's vegetables. Now, sasa kukata mboga. Do you remember when people even been told don't cut vegetables in the markets? Don't do this. And no one asks, like, okay, so what does that do? The serikali imesema. And if I don't do it, they might close the market. And if they close the market, I'll starve. Insecurity.
And that is also the insecurity you hear people saying, they say, how do you know that it will work? That's another question I hate.
Yeah.
How do you know it will work? What's the point of saying if nobody will listen? You haven't even said. But people already say, how do you know it will be effective? They want guarantees.
Like those where has this ever been done before?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Kwani I can't be an innovator?
So the things we are supposed to act on confidence, that's where we are asking
because
questions.
Somebody says it. It's because somebody said it. That's why it should be true. Those people like Newton who discovered gravity, where had that been done before? Or which paper did he write peer-reviewed? He's an innovator. Yeah. He wrote in which journal?
So when we are required to imagine, we are being told you need security and what. But when now we say we need security here, people don't want to ask for it. They don't want to ask for healthcare. They don't want to ask for good education.
No, that's why people go around, even in the conservation, this paradigm that all the pastoralists in these rangelands what they are doing is unsustainable. They are poor. They are degrading this thing. And if you question that, you ask that question, that where is the paper that says pastoralism is sustainable? And I tell people, it's sustainable because it's gone on in that place for 50,000 years. So pardon me if I think something that lasts 50,000 years is sustainable. You started these conservancies 10 years ago, and up to now, they have to have donor handouts every year. in what universe or what description of the word is that sustainable?
So
But
basically,
because
sustainability, not sustainability, security is wazungu. If they
yes,
approve, if they tick, that's when you're secure.
yes.
So if you're
Yet
an
what they are
African
taking,
imagining a solution to
yeah.
anything, they have to first get approval from the West.
Yeah, yeah. And students have written to me from the US that asking like, do you have examples of papers where I can get evidence of the conservation ethic in traditional pre-colonial African societies? And I asked them, published in a Western journal. The proof of it is the fact that we have elephants here, and Europe, you killed off the mammoths. That's the proof.
That's not proof enough.
Yeah. So you find like American society where they hunted the bison from, I think, 100 million animals down to 27.
Yeah, not 27.
No, 27 animals. Well, that society are the ones we are meant to learn conservation from. The passenger pigeon, they hunted to extinction, and there were like 50 billion birds or something. It's like they'd fly across in flocks that would blacken out the sun. These are pigeons. Can you imagine the commitment to killing it takes to kill 50 billion or whatever, 5 billion pigeons, one shot at a time? You remember, they didn't have technology of machine guns. It was one shot. And then someone like that asks you about what is the conservation ethic you're talking about, this African conservation ethic, because we don't believe it. We want to see where it's been published. We live it.
You know, I've just remembered Sheikh Anta said something about the deep insecurity embedded in European society.
Yeah.
So that's why they hoard. That's why they basically live an insecure existence.
Yeah.
Now they've spread it here.
Yeah. Canada, I think it's Canada that has bought COVID vaccines like 5 times their population. Yeah. And these are things which expire. Is that not neurosis?
It is.
It is. It is. So you're gonna throw them. You're actually gonna throw them away because these things can't be kept. That's neurosis, and that's when you bring up something from your own perspective, something you've learned because you've lived, basically. Someone say, how do you know that's going to work? Yeah, how do you know that's going to work? It's like I tell someone like chapo is good to eat, and where's the paper where this thing is written? I've cooked and eaten chapos. I know they're good.
And I'm still here.
And I'm still here. So they definitely don't kill people. But yeah, that demands always that when we are changing something, we must do benchmarking abroad. We must bring foreign consultants. Then there is evidence that this thing can work because it was done in Denmark. Forget about the differences between Denmark and Kenya. It's the same thing we talked about some time back of the steep roofed houses that discard snow and are being built in Laikipia. This is what we are doing.
And you know, during CBC, now that I've remembered, I was asked so many times, where has what you're saying happened? Can you show me the evidence?
Where did you
get
that
time
from?
I'm telling them there's no evidence even for what the government is saying will happen. But no, it's okay if it's Gava, because you know Gava has access to Azungu. Who am I to say anything?
Questioning.
So I need to back up my voice with some study from Finland. And then I'm there trying to tell the media, Achi, you can't be comparing Kenya to Finland. We're not the same.
The people, the climate, everything.
Everything. History, we're not the same.
Yeah. They might even come and build schools here with double glazing because of the low winter temperatures in Finland. You see, and this is the kind of thing. I know a couple of hotels in Nairobi that do not have windows that open to the outside, as in all the airflow in the building is artificial, is circulated.
But this is Kenya.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
Someone picked a design from whatever, Denmark or wherever place, and came and just poop, the way we build houses in Monopoly, you pick it and put it on that thing. Poop. Windows don't open.
Gosh, this story of insecurity. Hey.
Because it's material insecurity. Gosh. And it's mental insecurity as well. It's material and mental insecurity. Like at Mordecai said, Mordecai said that. Where did you get? I know that guy. Eh? Look for these published papers. Leave that guy's ideas.
I can hear people saying that we need to go back to our culture. We have lost our identity. How is that? Just say how that doesn't help.
They don't. Identity is what you have now. It's what you have now. It's within yourself, and I think to a large extent, culture is as well. Our culture is being secure in ourselves and in our society. The walls we are building between each other, either fencing ourselves in 1/8 acre plots, or fencing Mount Kenya forests, or making gated communities. That is the loss of our culture. That is the loss of our culture. And even though we can have physical fences, but the mental barriers we are building, that is where we are losing our culture. You can't talk of we are losing our culture yet you are supporting the introduction of whatever, some healthcare system or whatever, or education system from another place, yet you're talking about our culture. Our culture is about listening to each other. You have no culture if you can't listen to Mordecai. Don't talk about your culture.
Yes.
Your culture was about listening. We used to sit, whether in marketplaces were not just trading. We'd meet there, we'd talk, we'd do these things. Things like, why do you think the closure of bars hurt people so bad, traumatize our society so badly? It's not that we can't get alcohol. You can buy and drink in your bedroom. But our culture was talking. We'd drink and talk over beer. That was fractured instantly. Like, bars will remain shut, but there's no way. I can't buy beer and drink at home alone. For what purpose? Bars were places where people would sit and talk. So those are the cultures. I don't know what people are talking about going back to. Our culture was about listening to each other, finding our solutions to our problems.
Together.
That was what our culture, yes, together. Together. But we think solution to our conservation problems is foreign tourists. So where's our culture? And we think going back to our culture is having people dressed in traditional regalia serving those tourist drinks. No, that was not our culture. We think having Morans who are the security of the family and the society, having Morans dancing in a lodge is our culture. No, it wasn't. It never was. Never will be.
So Ogada, you have gone so deep. You have touched so deep.
We are destroying our culture while talking. We are thinking our culture is something we can pick up there. I picked up this laptop and then I can say, oh, let me go back and get my laptop. No. Our culture is sitting down talking to our kids about what's your problem. what's happening in school and all this, instead of sending him to a high cost boarding school, saying, I'm paying 1.5 million. I don't want to hear you telling me you have, I don't know what issues.
That's what I've been telling parents. I've been telling them, you would do better for your child if you just told them your story, how you were a kid.
Telling me a story.
And the silly things you did, and how you were, you made mistakes. You'd do more for your child than sending them to an international system. Because people keep asking me which system is good for my child. Who cares?
Kenyans don't, we are attaching it to mechanical things. I mean, you see, even on my Facebook page, I share a lot of photos of birds. Do you know the number of people who ask me, oh, what camera do you use? Yeah.
Even Magunga
It's not the camera.
That.
It's gently stalking the bird until you can get close and you take. It's not the camera. It's the method. It's observation. It's like, if I'm a good writer, you ask me what type of laptop do you use, even me, I want to write like that. These are tools. It's so we just don't get it. Like, some people think, like, to enhance your culture, it's about language. Like, you should talk to your kids in Dolu or in Kikuyu. No, it's about what you are saying. It's not the language. Do you talk to your kid? It doesn't matter if you are talking Chinese or French or English. Do you talk to him and tell him why it's not right to say this, it's not right to do that, and it's not right to do this, and it's not respectful to do this? People talk as if in shags there are no badly behaved kids who don't speak English. Those ones speak the all their life, but they also lose culture.
Oh,
so the culture is what we are. People are messing around here saying culture. Like, look at the custodians of our culture, the national museums. They're the ones exhuming old graves and sending the bones abroad.
Oh yeah,
where in African culture did we where in African culture did we exhume old bones? Where?
And give them to foreigners.
And then ship them abroad. Where? Where in our culture was that okay?
Regardless, but you know, they didn't talk to us. You see, if they announced that, people are digging around a cave, people would have asked, what are you doing? So they don't tell the public, they only tell us when the boats have left.
Yeah. And now they're telling us, they are the ones telling us what is important about our culture. They have discovered that Africans were actually burying kids in whatever thousands years ago.
And then what? So what?
I mean, look at the sacredness. Even there was a neighbor of mine who bought a farm, I remember. And the first time they were plowing, it was all virgin land. In the course of plowing, they came across old bones. There was an old grave. They brought some local lenders, they did some cleansing, and reburied those bones in a corner. They didn't care who it was when it was obviously really old grave, maybe over some 100 years old. We don't want to know who that is.
It's a person.
Together. We put them together, do some cleansing ceremonies. The elders do some incantations there. We don't even know, because the guys doing the incantations were actually Kalenjins. We don't even know if that guy was a Kalenjin, but they did those incantations and reburied the bones. And no one ever spoke of that thing again. Where these kids is digging up? We are digging up graves to find out our culture. Yet our culture is the one that says don't dig up graves. It's nonsense. Before we go back to our culture, we first have to know what our culture is before we say we are going back to it. If you say I'm going back to Mombasa, you first have to know where Mombasa is. That's what we are losing.
Oh gosh, what do we do? Ay.
We are not. We
is such a deep dehumanization. I don't even know if I can.
It is so dehumanizing. It is so dehumanizing. It is so dehumanizing. Reducing a person to material, yani bones. There were some bones. Now we've decided, those Europeans are very excited. They've decided to name the child Mtoto. Bloody hell.
And you know, they did, by the way, I looked to see if on the handle of that magazine they had posted that article. I think they realized, we've touched a live wire here. We better not.
These are anathema. It's anathema. It's anathema.
And you know what is so shocking is that our media, in fact, I wanted to talk a little bit about the media. The media hasn't heard the story of those kids in the US. There's been a case just last month of kids who had been killed by the US government in the 60s. Their bones were being used in an Ivy League university.
Yes, in an Ivy League university. Was it Princeton? Or was it?
One of those.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then our papers are gladly announcing the bones of a child are in Spain.
Yes.
How is this possible? Aki, I'm not understanding.
Our culture says we honor great people in our society. Go find the bones of Kimathi in Kamiti so we can honor him. How come that one now is not our culture?
But somebody comes from Spain, digs our bones, takes the kid.
By the time it's announced, the bones are in Spain. We are now being announced when the bones are in Spain.
There's something, gosh, something happened.
There's something so deeply amiss with us. There's something so deeply amiss with us that yeah. People even don't start thinking it's something you need to go back and retrieve someplace. Hold on to what you have.
And when I raised it, I got replies telling me this is science. It's discovery. From Kenyans.
We discovered a child. We discovered that Africans bury children.
And what point are you making? What very important point are you making by saying, oh, we used to bury people 78,000 years ago? So what?
Yeah.
Let the kid rest. That's why they were put there.
So the big discovery is actually that, oh, Africans were actually civilized.
For who?
For who?
Who are they discovering it for?
Who are they discovering? And that's what I said at that time, that our culture or our heritage is what we decide it is. It's not what other people find interesting or exciting about us. No. It cannot be that. And if we are serious about that, go find that 72-year-old grave in Kamiti.
We rebury because that's actually appending a debt.
We are discovering a 78,000-year-old grave, and we can't. This 70-year-old one here, we are saying we can't, and it's actually in a definite place, and we are saying we can't discover it. Then don't talk about culture. Even don't talk about heritage. Those people those people who are assisting the Spanish people digging up those bones, don't talk about heritage. What you are doing is just grave robbing. Heritage, that's not heritage, that's not culture. Not at all.
Gosh. Mordecai Ogada, you have just you
it's disturbing. It's very disturbing. It's very disturbing.
So, going back to BBI, the whole fiasco is revealing very deep.
Yeah. It's revealing hollowness in places where we thought there was substance. It's not even revealing. In fact, sometimes I wish it revealed something bad, because something bad can be made good.
Yeah.
When it reveals a vacuum, hollowness. You don't know, what do you do with the vacuum? What do you do with the vacuum?
Gosh.
some place you lived your whole life thinking there's something inside that box and it's precious. Then you one day you open the box and there's nothing. So what you believed in was nothing. What you are depending on was nothing.
Actually, that's what, maybe actually that's why the BBI camp is so traumatized, because it's not that they were told this thing is bad. They were told there's nothing here. You have no substance. You have no leg to stand on. So what you're selling to Kenyans is a lie.
It's like we had these leaders we'd put up there and we were giving all these adulations and expecting so many things from, and then a gust of wind came and blew them down, and then we found they were cardboard cutouts.
Gosh.
And then we are saying, Allah. So, you know, if you found that the leader was bad, you can tell him now, no, we don't want you to do, we want you to do good things. But now you found it was a cardboard cutout. You can't talk to it. It can't talk to you. It can't lead you. So you have to find leaders now. Because what we are talking to, what is a cardboard cutout? We now have to find leaders.
And we are heading to 2022 with nobody.
Yes.
Imagine we have nobody.
Yeah. And let's stop telling this, all this, that they are, you know, we are down to where the point we can't start saying, oh, so and so, this, and this. We good things or good people can be corrected and made. Bad people or imperfect people can be corrected, but we need a genuine living, breathing person. We can't have these cardboard cutouts. Living, breathing people can even be punished and corrected, and then we throw them out, we get another one. But let them be substance. Let them have substance. These are hollow. Our wind just blew and this thing fell over.
Gosh. Actually,
it just fell over.
It was just
There's
a wind.
Nothing there.
It was just a wind.
Yeah. In fact, you see, I was when Atwoli complained that these people are attacking the president, I was actually reassured, because I realized that there's nothing substantive he could point out. That's the only thing he could point out.
Actually, even
that
yesterday,
he said, Mr.
Even yesterday, I was telling somebody, just give us the philosophical basis on which you're resisting the judgment, because you've told us
or on which someone will appeal.
Just tell us why, explain to us, which means it was a lot of noise about nothing. Kenyans, we can't accept this anymore.
Oh, disrespectful. He said, Mr. Me, I'm called Mr. Maybe men we are used to being called Mr. You can't complain that someone is called Mr. That is not a substantive issue. Tell me philosophically, this appeal will be based on what? It will be a brave lawyer who will go and stand in front of that bench to appeal.
I want to see who is going to sacrifice their reputation. They better be old, because they will have to live the rest of their life having taken that appeal to the court.
They better be old and very well paid, because they may not be employed again. Then the reputation could go. But let's wait and see. But substance, and I think that's the angst that's disturbing Kenyans. We've discovered that
we have nothing.
We have nothing. We are hollow people, and we have to get substance within ourselves before we start discussing whether that substance is good or bad. But you have to have something in there.
Okay, give us something to think about, in terms of the path to substance. I think work is it. We have to work, and we have to demand that we work.
I think we have to work. You have to demand the work, the remuneration or respect, whatever, for your work. Do do not ever agree for your work to be belittled. It is your work, you did it. And I've tried to show this a lot by example. When I know what I've done in research in wildlife ecology and all that, and you'll notice that I use very harsh language whenever someone tries to belittle that. Because I know I did it. I went out there and I did it, and I saw it. So don't ever tolerate. It's nonsense. And it usually comes from a place of someone who hasn't done work. Anyone who's done work, if he's ever been a farmer and he's done that, if someone talks about engineering, he'll respect that work. He knows, hii ni kazi. But these people who got to the positions they are because of entitlement or whatever, they're the ones who try to belittle work. But we must work. We must demand respect for our work. We must ask people what they are doing. When someone comes to you, a leader comes to you, what are you doing? What work do you do? Ask them whether it's the teacher.
And
what work,
sitting in meetings is not work.
That's not work.
That's not work.
That's not work. Yeah. That's not work. We must ask people, what work are you doing? Because we've just found out now through the BBI debacle that the people we thought were leaders are not doing any work. Hollow cardboard cutouts, and the wind has blown them over. Do work, demand work. Demand work from others, respect the work they do, and demand respect for the work you do.
And that hopefully will make us demand security. We deserve to be secure.
Yes.
We deserve not to wonder what will happen to us if we get sick.
Yeah.
What will happen if my child doesn't pass? Those are not questions we should be allowing. In this day and age.
That respect for the work you do is what will give security, I think. Yeah, if we do that, then we'll achieve security. This insecurity it's grinding, it's killing our souls completely.
You've given me a lot to think about.
These conversations, they help me think as well, and it helps make sense of what's going on around us. I also find I achieve a lot more clarity after we have these talks and we hash these things out. Yeah,
it's like I was saying even about the paper I presented last week. I tell you, I don't think I could have done that 2 years ago. But now I had said, even if people will tell me, actually not all academics, I was just going to say, let me finish what I'm saying.
I'm saying it. This is what I've seen, and this is what I know.
This is what I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen this. So don't tell me, don't gaslight me. I didn't see it. I saw it.
So so we'll encourage Kenyans to work, make the payment
demand
separate.
Respect for the work.
The payment is separate, and it's a sign of respect for the work you did.
Demand respect for the work you do, respect the work others do. And don't compromise on that.
Then maybe we can start making better demands of our leaders.
Then that will grow security.
This BBI is the bottom.
We've hit rock bottom, basement.
Bottom.
Basement.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing on so many levels, but let's wait and see. Obviously, there are interesting times ahead with what will happen with it.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Great talking. Okay, have a good evening then.
You too.